Hi, today I'll try to answer the question, is Switchback VR worth your time and money? As you are watching this video, I will assume that you are somehow familiar with the main concept of this game, but if not, let me give it a quick overview. Switchback VR is a representative of a rail shooter genre in a quite literal sense. As a spin-off to Dark Pictures anthology series, its chapter's atmosphere closely resembles the previous installments, but they only serve as a background to the main course, which is a horror-themed roller coaster ride packed with a lot of arcade shooting, so familiarity with the previous games in this series isn't really required to fully enjoy this game. Our character for the whole game is on a hellish roller coaster ride, which means that our movements are rather limited. We can tilt and turn and look around in order to see the dangers from the sides and avoid obstacles blocking our path. And of course we can shoot. Shooting is a very important aspect of this game, and killing hordes of creepy enemies is quite a fun. It is worth mentioning that this game offers a few different types of guns, apart from our basic dual-wielded pistols, but most of them lack personality and feels the same as basic guns. Occasionally, our character can interact with the environment in other ways than shooting off heads and limbs of our enemies. Environmental puzzles aren't the main focus of gameplay, but there are few moments where it is required to think before pulling a trigger. For me, some of them weren't clear at the beginning, but after figuring out a few first puzzles, it is easy to spot the patterns. In terms of graphics, this game doesn't impress at all. During sequences when the cart is riding fast, or when we are attacked by the groups of enemies, it doesn't stand out that much. But there are many cases when cart rolls slowly through claustrophobic corridors and abandoned rooms. In these moments, poor quality of textures is unfortunately quite visible. I haven't expected the graphics quality of Horizon Call of the Mountain or Resident Evil Village, but I was hoping for much better graphic than I got, so in this area I'm quite disappointed. If you expected story-driven narrative like in previous games from Dark Pictures anthology, you will be disappointed. This game has a story, but it might as well have none and it wouldn't change much. All you must know is shoot everything that wants to kill you and tilt if there is an obstacle on the track. To be honest, a lack of narrative isn't necessarily a bad thing. This allows you to take more arcade approach and replay chapters in any order without feeling confused. Moving on to our performance. This game has some issues. I will skip occasional tracking issues because they might be due to lighting conditions in my room, but in some areas, especially after loading a new track, I experienced serious FPS drops. Taking into account not that impressive graphic fidelity and rather long loading screens, this doesn't feel good, and I hope it will be fixed in future patches. In my first playthrough, I also stumbled upon a moment when the script does not trigger and I was stuck in a stopped car. But loading the last checkpoint fixed the game. So, we already know what kind of gameplay we can expect from Switchback VR. But actually, how much content is in this game? Not much, but in my opinion, enough. Game features 10 levels, each taking about 20 to 30 minutes to finish, which seems reasonable for a VR game. After finishing the game, we can select tracks that interest us the most and replay them in order to explore alternative routes. As of right now, Switchback is priced for $40, which compared to Horizon Call of the Mountain, priced for $60, seems a little bit too much. This game is a really cool horror-themed arcade shooter, but it lacks in terms of graphic, performance and unique content. However, for me this was a hell of a ride, and in future I will surely go back to this game. In the end, you have to answer the question: if the idea of rather short, horror-themed rail shooter with at most average graphics is worth two-thirds of a AAA title. For me, yes.